welcome to Math World. Today's class I'm going to take up two theorems based on tau of n and sigma n. I have already mentioned how to calculate tau of n and sigma n in my previous video, and I have even mentioned the formula for calculating tau of n and sigma n. In this video I'm just going to prove them. Okay. Before studying the functions tau and sigma in more detail, I just mention about the notation we are using, which will help in our further discussion of tau of n and sigma n. Okay, the notation is this: summation f of d, where f of d runs over n. Sum of the values of f of d, as d runs over all the positive divisors of positive integer n. Okay, say suppose we have summation d divides 10, then it is function is f of d. I have to take up this summation runs over all the divisors of 10. What are the divisors of 10? F of 1 plus f of 2 plus f of 5 and f of 10. Okay. With this understanding, I'm representing tau of n and sigma of n. Okay, tau of n is nothing but summation 1. This runs over all the divisors of n, and sigma n is nothing but summation sigma is nothing but sum of all the divisors, right? So it is summation d. D runs over all the divisors of n. Okay, this tau of n is nothing but number of divisors, right? That's why I'm taking summation 1, and this runs over all the divisors of n. In the sense, how many divisors it has, that many times I have to add 1 to get tau of n, and this is the summation of d, means I'm adding all the divisors. This is listing out all the divisors of n and I'm adding them. That gives me sigma of n. So in particular, this notation, if we say, we have to add all ones, so that it depends on how many divisors it has. Okay, I'll just take up with this example only. Suppose the integer 10, its divisors are 1, 2, 5 and 10, right? So tau of n, in general, tau of 10 you can directly write 4, but I'll just explain you how to do with this. Okay, tau of 10 is nothing but summation 1, d divides 10. That many times I have to add. So the divisors are 4. There are 4 divisors, so I have to add 4 times. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, so that it is 4, since I have got 4 divisors. Okay, and hence even I can write sigma 10. Sigma 10 is summation d, where d divides 10. Okay, so the divisors are, first divisor is 1, second divisor is 2, third divisor is 5, and fourth divisor is 10, so that it is 80. So our first theorem is to obtain the positive divisors of a positive integer n, when it is written, n is written in terms of prime factorization. Okay. Okay. The theorem says if n has got this prime factorization and n is greater than 1, then the positive divisors of n are precisely those integers d which has got this form. Okay. We know if an integer is given, then how to write the prime factorization. We know that, right? Now we'll just take up a trivial situation first. What happens if the divisor is 1? If d is 1, the trivial situation when d is 1, say d is 1. What happens when d is equal to 1? This is possible only when this a1, a2, dash dash dash, ar are zeros, right? So this is possible when a1 is equal to a2 equal to a3 dash dash dash, ar equal to 0. And another trivial situation is when this d itself is n. See, when n has a prime factorization, this n has got a divisors 1 and itself. Those two are the trivial situations. Okay, one divisor I am taking 1 and another divisor I am taking as n. D is equal to n. When d is equal to n, when this will happen, when this a1 is equal to k1, a2 equal to k2 dash dash, ar equal to kr. In that case, d will be equal to n. So a1 equal to a1 equal to k1, a2 equal to k2 dash dash, ar equal to kr. These two are the trivial situations. Suppose that d divides n non-trivially. Okay. Say n equal to d into d prime. And this d and d prime are greater than 1. Now both d and d dash can be expressed as product of primes, okay, and those prime numbers may be distinct or may not be, not necessary. Okay, so now both d and d dash can be expressed as product of primes. Say d equal to q1 q2 into dash dash dash, say qs, and d prime equal to say t1 t2 dash dash, say tu, where these are primes. Okay, these are primes. So n is written d into d dash, and d dash can be written as product of primes. Then I can write n equal to Pn, I know n equal to p1 power k1, p2 power k2 dash dash, pr power kr, right? Now this, when it is written d into d dash, this can be written as q1 into q2 dash dash qs and t1 into t2 dash dash tu, right? Because I have written n as d into d prime, therefore I am writing this in terms of q1 into q2 dash dash qs and t1 into t2 the way up to tu. Now these are two ways of writing prime factorization of n, right? So this is one type of prime factorization, and this is another type of prime factorization of the same number. Now from the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, we know that unique prime factorization is unique, right? So by the uniqueness of prime factorization, each prime qi must be one of this p1, p2 dash dash pr, right? So by the uniqueness of the prime factorization, each prime qi must be one of the pj. Now collecting all the equal primes into a single integral power, what we are going to get? We get, say, this qi's, this equal to any one of this. Okay, so when I collect those which are equal, I'll write d equal to q1 q2 dash dash qs. This will be equal to some powers of these primes, right? So I don't know how many times each prime is repeated, so I'm writing, when I collect all, if you want I'll just write it. After collecting the equal prime into a single integral power, we get this d equal to q1 into q2 dash dash qs. I'll just write it down here. We get d equal to, say, q1 into q2 dash dash this qs is equal to some powers of p1 p2 dash dash pr. I don't know how many times it is repeated. Okay, so I'll just take up p1 power a1, p2 power a2, pr power ar, and these ai's can be 0. Since I don't know how many times it is repeated, some powers of p1 will be equal to any one of this qi. Okay, similarly in this q1 is equal to some power of p1, p2, like that. I don't know which is equal, so I'm just collecting all of them. When I take them together, the product d, the d is nothing but q1 into q2 dash dash, which in turn equal to some powers of this. So I can write it like this. That is what we have to prove, right? Any divisor, d is nothing but the divisor of n. So any divisor can be written in this form. That is what we have to prove. Product of primes. So same thing we prove. Now conversely, what happens if d is any number? Then I have to show d divides n, right? Converse part is if d is any number, of course the positive number, then I have to show d divides n, right? So for that sake, let every number d can be expressed as, say, p1 power a1 into p2 power a2 dash dash pr power ar, 0 less than or equal to ai less than or equal to ki, and this is a divisor of n, that I have to show. Okay, I'm writing D like this. Then n equal to, it is given that n is equal to p1 power k1, p2 power k2 into pr power kr. Now this p1 power k1, I can write it as, this one term I can write p1 power a1 into p1 power k1 minus a1. This say suppose p1 is of power 4. Suppose p1 is of power 4. This I can write it as p1 power say k into p1 power 4 minus k, like this I can write. Or if you want say 3, p1 power 3 into p1 power 4 minus 1. This way 4 minus 3, this way we can write it like this. Same way I am writing p1, I can write it as p1 power a1 into p1 power k1 minus a1. Similarly p2 I am writing p2 to the power a2 into p2 power k2 minus a2. Like that I am writing every term pr power ar into pr power kr minus ar. I'm clubbing all the terms which has got powers in ai's. So p1 power a1, p2 power a2 dash dash, pr power ar into the remaining terms p1 power k1 minus a1, p2 power k2 minus a2 dash dash up to pr power kr minus ar. So what is this actually? p1 power a1, that is nothing, this is nothing but d, and so let me call this as d dash or d prime, with d prime equal to p1 power k1 minus a1, p2 power k2 minus a2 dash dash pr power kr minus ar, with ki minus ai is always greater than or equal to 0 for each I. Right. When I have written n like this, d into d dash, then d dash must be greater than 0. Thus must be greater than 0. When it is greater than 0, then d must divide n. That is what the thing. I have simply taken d as a product of primes, and when I write p into a product of primes, I am just rewriting this into d dash. I am showing that this d dash is greater than 0. That implies d divides n. So this helps in proving the formula for calculating tau of n. This is the formula for calculating tau of n and sigma n if n is written in terms of product of prime factorization. So we'll prove these two formulas. From the previous theorem, if n is written like this, then the positive divisors of n are precisely those integers which has got the form d equal to, I'll just write from previous theorem, okay. From the previous theorem, we can write the positive divisors of n are precisely those integers d which has got a prime factorization p1 power a1, p2 power a2 up to pr power are where 0 less than or equal to ai less than or equal to ki. Now see, this a1 has got k1 plus 1 choices. Okay, this a1 can be equal to 0, that is one choice. Okay, and this can be equal to k1. So there are k1 plus 1 choices for a1. a1 can be equal to k1 or can be equal to 0. Therefore, how many choices k1 has, those many choices a1 has along with a1 can be equal to 0. Therefore, there are k1 plus 1 choices for the exponent a1. Okay, similarly, k2 plus 1 choices for the exponent a2, right? Means ai can be equal to ki or can be equal to 0. Therefore, ki plus 1 choices for each ai, right? Similarly, kr plus 1 choices for the exponent ar. Therefore, we can write k1 plus 1 into k2 plus 1, these many products, product of these many possible divisors. Okay, in the sense these are the possible divisors. I'm sorry. Hence, k1 plus 1 into k2 plus 1 dash dash kr plus 1 possible divisors of n. Tau of n is nothing but number of divisors, right? So when each ai has got ki plus 1 choices, when I take up all the choices and when I multiply them, that gives me the total possibility of the divisors of integer n. Now to evaluate sigma n, consider the product sigma n equal to, let this product, you take up this product 1 plus p1 plus p1 square up to p1 power k1, okay, into 1 plus p2. Sigma of n is nothing but sum of the divisors, right? So I don't know how many times each prime appears when I take a prime factorization. So I'm taking this product, okay, p2 power k2 into 1 plus pr square up to pr power kr. I'm taking this, okay. I'll explain you how this helps in proving this with an example later. Okay, now I'll just prove this, I'll complete the proof and then I'll go back. Each positive divisors of n appears once and only once as a term in the expansion of this product. Okay, when I take n equal to p1 power k1, p2 power k2 dash dash pr power kr, each prime may appear many times, right? I don't know how many times it is appearing. I have to add all of them, right? So if I take a prime p1, then it appears, suppose if it appears 3 times, then I have to add primes like this. I have to add them to get sigma of n. So I'm just considering this product. when I take up like this, see, this is in geometric progression, sum of the geometric progression. We know that, right? We know, if you want, I'll write it down. We know, say, 1 plus pi plus pi square dash dash up to ki times, then this is nothing but pi power ki plus 1 minus 1 divided by pi minus 1. I hope you know this. So I'm just applying this formula for each term in this product. So sigma n can be written as p1 power k1 plus 1 minus 1 divided by p1 minus 1, p2 power k2 plus 1 minus 1 by p2 minus 1 into pr power kr plus 1 minus 1 divided by pr minus 1. This gives me sigma of n. See, I'll just tell you how this works with an example, okay? Suppose I have n equal to 36. N equal to 36. What are the divisors of n if you consider divisors of 36? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18 and 36, right? So I can write tau of n equal to, you can directly count and write. I'm just using the formula. I'm rewriting this n in terms of product of primes. This can be written as say 6 into 6 is 36. So when I write a prime factorization, it is 2 into 3 into 2 into 3. So that it is 2 power 2 into 3 power 2. Tau of n is nothing but k1 plus 1 into k2 plus 1, like that, right? Here k1 is 2, so 2 plus 1, k2 is 2, again 2 plus 1. That's all, only 2 primes are there. So 3 into 3, 3 into 3, it's 9. You can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 appears twice, so we are not considering, we are considering only once. That is tau of n. Now I have to write sigma of n. This is, I'll just write this sigma of n by using this, okay, this part I'll explain. 1 plus p1, p1 is here 2, first prime is 2 and p2 is 3, both are appearing twice. 1 plus p1 plus p1 square up to p1 power k1. k1 is 2 here, k1 is 2 and k2 is also 2. So up to k1, k1 is 2, so I'm stopping over here. And then again 1 plus p2, p2 is 3, second prime, and I have to write 1 plus p2 plus p2 square. p2 square is 3 square. Up to where I have to write? Up to p2 power k2. k2 is 2 only, so I'll just stop here. Now this is 1 plus 2 plus 4 and 1 plus 3 plus 9, 7 into 13, so it's equal to 91. You can cross check by adding this, right? This is how you have to apply the formula in value of n when it is asked to calculate tau of n and sigma n.